So, welcome to the Mental Margarita Show. Heather Williams is with us today. Pahrump Wellness Sanctuary at the Death Valley Oasis. You provide sanctuary everywhere you go, and we're going to
That
talk
is the
about that.
goal.
So, how are you? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. A very productive day, and this was one of the fun things to do on the morning agenda.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to go into your background, talk about all the wonderful services you provide here in the Valley and beyond. So, going back to the beginning, you originally were born and raised in Southern Nevada. Tell us a little bit about growing up.
Well, I was born in Iowa, and
Okay,
then
so
yes, I was born in Iowa, but then our family, I'm an identical twin, and our mom was a single mom and followed grandma and grandpa to Las Vegas when we were little.
okay, so
Mhm.
you grew up in Las Vegas, and I apologize. I correct myself for
Had
had that.
time in Vegas and then time in Pahrump as well. So experienced both living in a big city and a small town, and I'm very thankful for those contrasts.
It does give you the best of both worlds, and it's nice to be able to have the access to all those things in a city, but then be able to get away too.
It is. When I'm craving more culture, I'll find some, concerts or shows, things to do in Vegas, but usually, give me a few days in Vegas and I'm ready for the slower life again. So it's nice I love being close to Vegas though. It's such a great city.
It is, and there's so much to do, so many great things happening, and we have our ups and downs. I've been in Las Vegas since 2004, so I've seen a lot of things happen, and everything's in cycles. So, it always comes back around again. So, what led you in your journey? What led you to your interest in massage therapy? You've been doing this a long time. So, what
Yes, this is my
inspired you
20th
to,
year.
how'd you get into that line of work?
So, I think that I witnessed my first, what I would call a miracle on myself when I was little. And I think looking back, that's probably what sparked a passion to delve more into that. I struggled with migraines, allergy migraines really bad when I was a kid. So
Mm.
anytime I would go outside, go swimming for the day, go to a fair, I would always end up with a terrible migraine that night from
Mm.
allergies. And it was just a normal part of my childhood. So during one of my migraines, I was laying in my mom's bed crying because it was just hurting so bad, nausea and vomiting. And I remember she walked by me and she was trying to just comfort me for a second. And this was the only time she ever did this, but she put her hand on the bottom of my foot and she just went to rub it for a second and said, I'm sorry, baby, and walked away. Well, the second she happened to hit a trigger point and my migraine went away instantly. I
Wow.
mean, the entire headache was gone
Mm.
from her touching my foot for maybe a split second. And it gives me chills right now. Like it was life changing for me. So now whenever I get an occasional migraine or headache, when they're bad enough, that's the first thing I do is have someone work on my feet.
Mm.
And it removes like that sensation. It lowers it the second it starts. So I think that's really what did it for me. And then I was a manager for the wrestling team in high school. So I got to see firsthand how it helped a lot as I got older, how it helped people in the sports industry as well.
And it's that's amazing that you share that, because it's important for people to know that we've got so many pressure points in our body, and in places acupressure and reflexology and sometimes doesn't get as much attention as it should, because our bodies come with these built-in natural healing spots and sensors and places to activate these healing and comfort. And a lot of people spend their life in pain and they resort to medication when they don't have to, and that creates addiction
Very
issues
true.
and other
And a
things.
lot
So
of physical pain. It's just it's a sign of something deeper. I offer emotional release massage, and it's a modality that I began creating probably about a year ago now. And just because I wanted to be able to tap into parts on the body to help people process a trauma and emotion mentally. And but what I found, I lost my mother this January. And so I delved straight into getting massage just because I wanted to relax. But it was so beautiful because I found that in certain parts of my body, it would get worked on. It was a deep tissue. And especially on my thigh, I remember this specific part where she was working on it triggered that emotion, that
Mm.
grief release. And that is what I have found on myself when I pay attention. I mean, I will have tears rolling when I get massages, when it's more for a focus on emotional release, because our body, it holds memory, right? And that's beautiful because that means it empowers us to do something. We don't just have to sit and wait for emotions to leave us. We can take an active role in helping them. And body work is a great way to do that.
And it's you know what you do with focusing on trauma and kind of going beyond what people might think is the typical massage experience, that there is more of a holistic approach to, you know, the healing benefits that they're getting. Because it's not just skin deep, you know, it's
No.
beyond that. So you have a whole licensed team that works, that you've put together, that provides services. You do a lot out of the Oasis at Death Valley. You have a wellness weekend coming up. We're going to talk about your retreats because it really gives people just this overall. It's like a one-stop shop for healing and rejuvenation, relaxation, just mental, emotional, spiritual. Kind of covers all the bases. So something that I found interesting when I was, you know, looking at some of your services is that, you know, you touch on relationship and communication uh, therapies, and you take care of the skin and the body, and you know, then yoga, meditation, mindfulness, and then, you know, getting into some of the other healing techniques that you use. Can you give us an overview of what people, if they were going to come and have an experience with you, what they're going to receive?
We really, my goal is to, wherever I go to create, to try to create as much of a well-rounded sanctuary as possible. And sanctuaries look different for everybody, right? So some people, a sanctuary is movement. Some people, they want to delve deep into their communication skills, where they're at emotionally. Some people, it's body work. So I wanted to create an experience that could reach to a variety of individuals all at once, which was beautiful. That's one of my most favorite parts of observing our retreats is you'll have this gamut of people from all different walks of life. Some people are avid hikers and bikers, and some people are grandmas on a girls' trip, but they're all
Mm.
connecting with this amazing, like, unified purpose to say, okay, I'm really excited for this class. I'm really excited for this one. Let's go experience all of this. And that includes our communication courses. We have Oriana Broderick and Jess Bliss. Oriana, she is our mind body centered therapy specialist, and she's just an amazing woman. She has a lot of experience in corporate settings as well, with helping people tune in and hone in onto their emotion, and she walks people through processing and releasing that through their body as well. I've personally had sessions with both of them. So I think that's very important, right? To really get to know who we're having join our team. And her and Jess are both amazing women. Jess is probably, I would honestly say, one of the most inviting and comfortable women to have one-on-one sessions with, and the same goes for her group sessions. We also offer our sound baths. Have you ever experienced a sound bath?
I have.
Yeah, so you get it. Aren't they just the funnest?
And and everybody reacts differently, but you don't even realize the different parts of your body that react to different tones, frequencies. People just don't often get to tap in or even know about how to access that modality. So I'm so glad that's
Yeah.
one of the things you offer because it's so important for people to experience that.
And it's so fun because weather permitting, we offer it in our oasis, our mission garden, next to our Spanish style resort. And it is this outdoor, it's so beautiful. It looks it's like this Spanish style building, but it's all open. But then the inside of it are these fountains, and it's filled with grass in the middle of the desert. And so, weather permitting, that's where we hold our sound baths, and it's so
Mm.
beautiful because after it gets going, you start hearing the birds join in, and they'll just start flooding. They love it. They love it just as much as the guests do. So it's a really cool experience where we really get to just delve into nature with the sound as well.
And it's great for people to be able to connect. It kind of takes us back to our roots and our primitive form of who we are, and which is part of healing too, kind of returning to self and being able to rediscover who you are on the inside before certain events and things happen. So again, going back to traumatic experiences and things that people go through in life.
Mhm.
I mean, everybody goes through something in life, and it could be a loss or a situation, even poverty, or just could be any number of things that trigger people and cause them some kind of emotional damage. But
And even
there's
just the
healing.
hustle and bustle of life, because,
Stress. Stress is
let's,
another one.
yes, I mean, we have the valleys and the mountaintops, right, of life. So some people come to us in their valleys, and then we have our members who were just, they need to stop. They need to stop the um, American grind, because America, they're heavy hitters with working hard
Mhm.
and with work being, I think we need to adopt siestas in this country. I think that would really help people. And so that's what I love too, is I can tell our corporate, when they come to us, that's my heart is just, okay, let's get these people some much needed rest, and let's get their minds to stop and just be in the moment here for themselves and for each other.
Mhm. And I'm glad you mentioned that because there's certain groups and organizations that have adopted nap times in a workday. Even Albert
Mhm.
Einstein took cat naps to as a refresh. The military does that. They've mastered short naps to refresh when they have to go days and days having to be
Mhm.
alert and on watch. And then we've got the corporate places have, there's even like, you can put a, what is it, I forget what it's called. It's like a nap chamber you put around your head and it makes it dark, and then you can just sleep for a few minutes.
So
There's all
smart.
different kind of ways, or a nap room where they have like a bed. Find your inner peace and connect with self by joining the sanctuary at Death Valley for Wellness Weekend, Friday, April 24th to Sunday, April 26th. Enjoy a weekend filled with yoga sessions, body sculpting, communication workshops, sound baths, and more. Scan the QR code to book your stay using code WELLNESS now. For more information, call 775 977 2202. That's 775 977 2202. Wellness awaits. You spent some of your career working with corporate folks and helping with this, and then also with hospice. You also
Yes.
worked a number of years with hospice, so we want the audience to know this healing can be at any stage of life, and it can provide many benefits at any stage of life. to provide soothing and healing, not only for the patient, but many times the family, the caregivers, and those that are experiencing these different life transitions. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes, hospice end of life massages, that it's my heart. I already have a website built. This is silly to say out loud now that I realize it, but when I retire, that's what I want to do is I want to do end of life coaching for families and their loved ones and massage. And my website's been built for 2 years already. And
Mm,
I'm not using it yet, but it's it's my I think my life's calling in the deepest part of me is the end of life massage because it is so I'm getting teary-eyed just talking about it. It is it's so precious. And I've said hello and goodbye to a lot of people at the end of their life and spent a lot of time with their family members. And man, it's I view the end of life as like a culmination of our life experience and we get to put it all to practice at the end. It's this huge opportunity to surrender, to let others care for you, to go with the flow. And it's, man, it's just such a beautiful thing to be a part of. And what I've experienced the most with my end of life care for my patients and their families is there's just this beautiful, they're so open to receiving. And it's almost like this veil is lifted where I can step in to that space with them and everyone is just like, okay, we're going to receive and we're going to receive love, we're going to receive care, and I'm just going to rest and let this person's hands help me. And it's remarkable. So yes, I've massaged babies that are 2 weeks old.
mm.
That was one of my first baby I ever got to take a nap during massage was 2 weeks old with colic. And I've massaged people 101 years old. And I think that it's one of those things on this earth that everybody should try because it's amazing, especially if you find a provider that works really well with you on different levels also.
Now, you're also a mother. You have a young son who's a soccer player, and you coach soccer. So we were talking about exercise and moving around, and
Mhm.
that's a game where you don't stop moving the entire time. So tell us a little bit about this other stuff you do, working with the youth.
Oh, it's fun. My son, he's 12. His name is Landon, and he's the light of my life. He's such an amazing kid. He spends a lot of time with adults, so he's still a kid, but then he has the most fun conversations with adults, and it's just this awesome mix that he's been created with. So yeah, I started coaching his soccer. Um, we were short in our little town over here on coaches. So yes, when he was 7, I coached his first team, and I've coached every year since. And last year was my first year of having a group of all boys. So that was fun. It was wild, but it was a lot of fun. And I think it's so great. I'm so thankful that there's these organizations like AYSO and that put on these, so kids can actually build their skill and
Mm.
compete in healthy environments.
And sports, it's such a healthy outlet too, because we see so many young people on their devices and already in a sedentary lifestyle and not moving. I mean, when I was a kid, I had to be outside. I wasn't allowed to just hang out indoors unless there was bad weather. So it was go
Yes.
outside, ride your bike. I biked, I skated. Plus, I had animals. We had animals around, so I was active running around with them too. But yeah, it's just we have to encourage our young people and fight young obesity and these bad boredom habits and things that just start a trend from a young age. So we want them to get out and be active. So
It's a
I'm glad that
requirement.
you do that. Yeah.
It really is. There's a lot of new things that none of us really had to experience growing up,
Mhm.
even just the with social media, everything. So yeah, I have not, my son doesn't have a cell phone. I did get him a gaming computer, but we're figuring out, the healthy boundaries and balance with that. But yeah, no cell phone yet. I think I will wait until he's a couple years into high school. He has a talk, text, watch. He can text the people that we add to it. No social media, and that's that for now.
You've clearly found your passion with helping others and with the healing work that you do. But what's your mental margarita? How do you get away from it all and kind of find your center? Do you have a go-to that's like number one on your list? It could be more than one thing.
My first go to is my faith. For me, I'm Christian, and man, that's my anchor. Anytime I start getting into being a little bit of a workaholic, or, the things of life start getting more heavy to me. I mean, that's my center, is just that light of my faith. And that will bring me back down. It'll soften my heart. It'll bring my mind back into focus when I need it. So that's would 100% is my number one. I love, I sing worship music. I'm working on a couple more of my songs here soon. I've written a couple just for fun that I feel God led me to make. And so that's been a big passion of mine for probably about the last 10 years. And then I love spending time with my family. I have a twin sister, like I said, my nieces, my nephews, my boyfriend Oliver. And I think anything that we can do to just be in the present moment, those things that spark our hearts and that bring us to the present moment, I think are so important, because it's very easy in this day and age to go to spend your entire day not in the moment. It's very easy to do that because social media, that's just dopamine hits there. It's
Hmm.
not, it's so, the doom scrolling and all these things that, I can even be guilty of when I'm super stressed. That's how I'm like, oh, I'm scrolling a lot today. It's time to step away and get back
Hmm.
to my center. So I think anything we can do to be present, that's the key.
And we do need to take care of our spiritual health, just like our physical health, mind, body, and spirit. And people sometimes leave that out, and we have to remind ourselves that that's still such an important part of us. And if you, for those folks that don't have faith in either God or Christ or some other, and I hate
Mhm.
to say higher power. I'm also a Christian. I was raised in a highly religious home, and I found that as the older that I've gotten, my relationship with God has deepened in a more spiritual sense, where we have a more understanding as we go through this
Mhm.
life. We learn and discover so many more things, and that's such a big part of wellness is our spirit, and definitely having faith and something to hold on to and
And
give
that
us
does
hope.
look different for everybody. Some of my
Hmm.
best friends are Buddhists. I have amazing friends that are atheists, and they'd, rather just, there's so many different things we can believe in. I know what I believe in, and I know when I pray where it's going. But at the end of
Hmm.
the day, we can all love each other. And, you know, I that's the biggest thing that I hope is that if people find themselves in turmoil or crisis or sadness inside, that they really prioritize their spirit, right? Their soul, that internal world. Because some people, spirit is really nothing. They're just like, no, we're here and we're just here. And that's fine if that's what people choose to believe. But at the end of the day, the internal world, it matters so much. And our thought life, whatever belief you are, it matters. And we have to realize that we're in control of that. Because if we're not, then our thoughts and things like emotional deregulation and anxiety, that will just run us. And that's no way to live a life. And we don't have to.
people get a hold of you? How do you prefer they follow you? And of course, we're going to have the number up and ways for people to book their appointment. But what do you prefer for people to stay in touch, make sure they know about your events, and stay in contact with you?
So our website for our spa website, that is, we'll have updates on there regarding our retreats. Our menu is always up to date. Our specials are on there. And then from there, they'll be able to find our Facebook page as well as direct line where they can text or call as well as email. And that is sanctuary that is spelled out ATDV.com.
Wonderful. Well, we're excited. We're excited to hear those updates and be able to share that with everyone so they know how to access those things and those events. So thank you so much, Heather, for being on the show and for teaching us so many things today and sharing your story and your inspiration behind what you do.
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm very happy to be a part of it, and thank you for everything that you're doing to just bring messages and bring awareness of different things going on in the community.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.